Hi, I'm Gabi from Ray Studios, and today I'm gonna be reviewing the Fosicam FM 145. Before I jump into unboxing this, I wanna read something that it says on the box. It's a FM series micro DSLR stabilizer. Even though they have two mirrorless camera, but it can most certainly take a lot of DSLR cameras, like the Canon 700D, 600D, and etc. I think it might even be able to take something like a 5D Mark II. I will probably try it in the future, but it can take the A7R2. I already tested out and it stabilized really well with that camera. But this stabilizer, I believe it was very well designed to work with the Sony A6300, A6500, and A6000. Here on the side say feature, and this is something that, like I said, I would like to read before I go into the boxing, because there is a lot into the stabilizer that is related to features. 3-axis slip ring 360 rotate without limit, pretty sweet. Built-in 3x 32-bit MUC 3 pieces high precision magnet encoders inside to detect 0.01 degree movement. I have no idea what that is, but sounds pretty cool. Shutter button on handle, easy to operate start-stop video on Sony, Canon, Nikon cameras. Now that is really fantastic. I saw it would be like useless, but I end up using it a lot. I'll get back to that in just a moment. Toolless, totally. I think they should have like proofread these things, but yeah, totally toolless. Quick to adjust balance. It's pretty good to balance this camera. It's very easy, very intuitive, and it has markers. I'll get to that in just a moment as well. Built-in BLE 4.0 Bluetooth module. Connect with mobile app to remote control easily. Well, I couldn't quite test that out because it doesn't work with Android phone. That kind of sucks, but it does work with Apple products. I'm probably gonna try in the future with my iPad, see if that works. But you know, considering that most people have iPhones, so maybe not such a big deal. Recharge for Sony camera. What that meant is that they have a cable that connects to the stabilizer, and you can charge your camera while shooting. 4 kinds of working modes, flexible and follow your wheeling at any time. Alright, so most stabilizers have 3 modes, they have 4, and the 4 mode is not really that very useful, but you know, you can get creative with that. It's kind of like it just follow your yaw axis, in which the camera can tilt like this, which is kind of cool. I already saw some ways on how to use that. 1 button for 360 panel, 5-time lens selectable. But what that means is like you can do panoramic pictures automatically. You just like set it up and just rotate by itself. But you can also do time lapses, and this is really cool. Like I said, the feature is maybe the most important thing about this stabilizer when you compare it with other stabilizers. But it's not the only thing. There are many things to it that make this stabilizer very special. So let's just get into it. Now look at this very sweet case. This is like a rugged case. It's not very heavy, but probably because the stabilizer inside is quite light, but this looks very professional. It looks like the Pelican case, you know? This is really nice. Let's open this up. I feel like I'm gonna open like these suitcases with money, you know? Ta-da! And here it is. First, I'm gonna take everything, all the things that are in the suitcase, except the stabilizer. Leave that for last. First is instruction manual. As you can see, it's very lengthy. English and Chinese, and you know, it's rather bigger than other instruction manuals, and that's because there are a lot of features for this stabilizer. We have a mini tripod, which is made of metal, very good quality. Logo right there, Fosicam. and it's very small, compact. Right here, open it up already. There are two cables. The cable for recharging the camera, and the cable with the little lamp, as you can see right there. I'm covering my face so the autofocus on the camera doesn't recognize my face. As you can see the cable. So this is for the wireless trigger. I'll get back to that in just a moment. Then we have the charger. Charger right here. And you have a lot of adapters. So whatever it is that you are in the world, any country, you're gonna be able to use this, no problem. And now to the stabilizer itself. As you can see, it's super small and light. Well, you cannot see how light it is, but I can tell you it's very light. As you can see, the grip, it is as big, it might be even smaller than the Qiyun Smooth Cube that is designed for mobile devices. And this is designed for even DSLRs, and it's so tiny, so small, and actually also very light. I think what put some weight into the stabilizer is this. This is made of metal, this is plastic, this is aluminum alloy. It's some kind of very high quality aluminum. The design is beautiful. I love the colors, like deep red, the rings and the screw here. Looks very nice. Before I jump into reviewing the stabilizer, I'm gonna get back to the case because I wanna show you something. First, I'm gonna put this here, back into the case. Tripod and the two cables. There is a reason I'm not putting the charger there, I'll tell you in just a moment. But look at this. You have a cutout for your A6300, and as a matter of fact, I have a A6300 right here. I'm gonna put it inside. As you can see, that is perfectly matched. But with one difference is there is a lot of empty space here. That's because the cutout was for the A6300 paired with an 18-105 lens, the G lens, which is much longer. So I have the kit lens, 16-50 millimeter. So you can see I have some empty space. So I don't have the 18-105, but I have something a lot better. Because I have a smaller lens, I have an empty space here and here, because I don't need a charger at all. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna bring my Sony 28F2, and I can just put that right there. I can put it there, or there. That give me an equivalent to full frame of 42 millimeters, which is very, very useful, and it's very fast aperture, f2. They all have autofocus, and the autofocus is, you all know, is absolutely great on this camera. And the other lens that I like to carry together with this camera when I'm using the stabilizer is the 50mm f1.8 that give me a beautiful bokeh. So when I want to emphasize in my subject, I like to change to this lens, and I can put it, look at this, perfectly fit. So I can carry a camera with 1, 2, 3 lenses, the stabilizer, tripod, the cables, and it all fit in this beautiful rugged case that will definitely make you look very professional when you arrive at a shooting. And it's pretty small and light. Of course, it got a little bit heavier now that I got the camera and all the lenses, but this is really, really nice. Anyway, let's just get to the stabilizer. Here we go. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna be mounting this camera with a 16-50mm. I'm gonna take cover out so it doesn't influence the way I balance the camera. I need to start the lens because it's when the lens is retracted after I balance it, I will open it up and it will disbalance the camera. I'm gonna take the cables out and I'm gonna get rid of this suitcase. And let's go ahead and balance this camera. Already balanced the tilt. Okay, it's a little bit heavy on this side. And adjusting. And it's balanced. That was pretty easy. Well, that is easy because I already have it a little bit pre-balanced. If you're interested in knowing how to balance this camera on the Stabilizer or any camera, let me know in the comments section below and I will make a special video just balancing this camera on this Stabilizer. Anyway, something that is really interesting about balancing this camera here is that the knobs here, they're really big and they're very easy to use. Just as an example, on my beholder, I have two little screws on each side, and once I lose the screw, the thing gets too loose. Here I have some kind of like marks that even when you loose it up, you need to kind of push it, which is really good. And there are also like actually marks. It's a little bit hard to show, but it shows like on millimeters. I don't know if you can see right there. The marks right here. So every time you mount the camera, you already know, like for example, I know here I say 11 millimeters. I already know where to set it up. So every time you balancing your camera, it is really very, very easy. Even if you change your lens, as long as you remember, you can write it down what the parameter for the balancing is. So you don't need to like just kind of like test it out and put it here, put it there. You already know where to balance, how to move this thing to the left or to the right, how much, because you have markings on each axis, and that makes it very, very easy to balance the camera on the Stabilizer. Now, even after I put the camera on, this thing remains very, very lightweight, and that is because they keep not only small, but they keep it with a very light material. So here is plastic and here is aluminum alloy. Now, about the material and the building quality, that's probably the only thing that I'm not 100% like about this Stabilizer. The plastic here, it feels too plasticky. I come from the beholder, which is all metal, built like a tank, and this one is, you know, it feels like the handle on the Chiyun Smooth Q, which is for mobile devices. But of course, that's a trade-off. You want it light? It has to be plastic, it has to be aluminum alloy. The aluminum alloy, by the way, is very well built. Everything is well built. I don't feel like this is gonna break at all. It is very well constructed. I'm just saying that some people do not love plastic materials on their Stabilizer. Anyway, let me show you here. Here on the operations, you have a multi-directional joystick. And when I say multi-directional, I really mean it. On my beholder, you only have left, right, up and down, but here you can also shoot in diagonal. So the camera, if you move like left and up, the camera will move left and up. And that's very interesting. That's something that I've never seen on any other Stabilizer before. Another thing that is also amazing about this directional pad here, joystick, whatever you want to call it, is that if you move very softly to one side, now the Stabilizer will also move softly. And if you move all the way, then it will move faster. Now that's really cool. Then you have the mode button, home buttons, on and off switch. And then right here you have the wireless trigger. So you can either take pictures with this when you are in picture mode on your A6300, or you could be doing a start-stop video. For that, you're gonna need this cable. Anyway, I'm gonna get to that in some update review in which I'm gonna be reviewing all of the features on the Stabilizer, because there is so much to talk about the Stabilizer. I don't think I can fit all in one video. So I'm gonna get to all of the special features from the Stabilizer on a different video. Here is the other cable that you can just basically plug here, somewhere in there, and then plug into the camera, and you'll be charging your camera while shooting. You charge from the Stabilizer. To charge the Stabilizer, what you need is plug here, it's a different place. And if I'm not mistaken, here is a micro USB port, that's for updating and connecting to your computer. Another thing you have here on the side is a 1/4 inch mount. So you can put basically a magic arm, which I already did. And with the magic arm, you can mount a monitor, a microphone. This is very, very, very useful. I love that they did that. I haven't seen it on any other Stabilizer. And this one being so small, having that, super. I've seen the people at Fosicam, they really put a lot of thought on how to build this, and they, like, I don't know how they did it so small and so well. Another thing is remarkable about the Stabilizer, especially considering how small it is that the battery life is very, very impressive. It's like 10 hours. 10 hours of battery life, and the charging time is 1.5 hours. It's like less than 2 hours to fully charge these things, and then go for 10 hours. That's why I never carried my charger on the suitcase, because I won't need it. 10 hours, I can shoot the whole day. Actually, I can probably shoot 2 full days with this Stabilizer, and just will continue to work. Very, very impressive with battery life. And that also gives you a very big chance to charge your camera. You know, we all know that the Sony A6300 battery life sucks. So you could be charging your camera from the Stabilizer and have a full day shooting without ever replacing or charging any battery. Wow. Considering we're talking of the A6300 here, you don't need to replace your battery on a whole day of shooting. And you don't need to charge the Stabilizer either, because battery life is so long. So that's something very, very impressive. So I think that I read on the box is this one right here, which is the 360. Basically, it never stops. I didn't find it so useful, but you know, it's gonna become useful at some time. So let's start the Stabilizer. Switch up, turn it on, and here we go. Bang. It starts with tilt lock, so in which you cannot tilt, but you can bang. Then you push twice on the mode button, and it goes into follow mode, in which it follows tilt and pan. Then you push 3 times, and it locks all the axes. Everything gets locked, camera remain pointing in the same direction, and then you touch 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And check it out. Woo! Now it moves in all directions. So it's follow everything you do. So it's pan, tilt, and yaw. Check that out. You can just figure it out. You can do portrait shooting like this. Pretty cool. By the way, it's not vibrating at all. This is like, whatever position I go, it's working very well. Touch 1 time and you go back to default, which is tilt lock. Tilt, get lock, pan, still move. Something that is worth remarking about the Stabilizer is the inverted mode. It is actually, I found it to be very useful and better than any other Stabilizer, because let me show you something. This is a 45-degree angle Stabilizer, right? So the inverted mode is a little bit different. The reason why you have a 45-degree is because you can see the screen. The other Stabilizer, the screen is blocked by the head of the Stabilizer. But because the Stabilizer have this design, you cannot really go into inverted mode like you would with other Stabilizer. But what you do actually, you go to inverted mode this way. And that's it, you are in inverted mode. Now the bad thing about inverted mode with this Stabilizer is you go too much, you might actually get this part of the stabilizer into the shot. As it right now, you can see how low I'm going, and I'm not getting the head of the stabilizer on the shot. It looks like it's right in front of the lens. I can show you. It looks like it's right in front of the lens, but it's not showing up, and I'm at 16mm, which is pretty wide. So it's not a very big deal, but you know, if you want to point the camera up as you're very close to the ground, I used to do that with my previous stabilizer. You might not be able with this, but one very big advantage of that inverted mode is that you can go from one mode to the other one seamless. You just go for it. And I did that in an event that I was shooting last Saturday, and it was very, very, very useful. I was shooting people, when I got in the stage, I was shooting the people on the stage, and when I wanted to shoot the crowd, I would just go and shoot the crowd. And that was really very useful. Another thing that it was very useful was this trigger right here, which I will probably show you how to use it in a different video, but basically you just plug it there. That thing is pointing the IR blaster on the camera, and then what it does is you just push this button and will stop recording. At the beginning, when it's just reading the box, what it can do, so maybe some kind of like these gimmicks that people do like in the products to bring more attention, but in reality it's incredibly useful. You just I'm waiting in the bend, see something happen, start this, shoot, and start recording. So I don't need to kind of like hold the camera. It's complicated. That makes it very dynamic and very easy for shooting. Anyway, this is a stabilizer. You probably want to know how well the stabilization works on this gimbal. So I'm gonna go outside and test it with my usual test, in which I just go out and walk and run on a even terrain and then on a very uneven terrain. Well, as you can see, the stabilization works very, very, very well. As a matter of fact, it might be even better than the Beholder. You can check my previous videos on the stabilization, how it worked on the same test, and I think this one actually totally nailed it. It's perfect, and that's probably because one of the reasons that I believe that the stabilizer works so well is because it was designed for the A6300. So if you have an A6300, this is pretty likely to be the best stabilizer ever made, especially for this camera. So they not only design and the suitcase and everything for this camera, but I think they also tune it for the exact weight and balance of this camera. So when you mount the A6300, it works just so well. And considering how light it is, well, that makes it more easy for people to work long hours, like I did in my last event, in which I was 4 hours shooting. So carrying this thing around for 4 hours is very light. One more thing that I forgot to mention is right at the bottom. You can mount the tripod. It's a 1/4 inch screw, but they also have the 1 inch screw, and that's very useful because you can mount it either on any little mini tripod or on a big tripod by using a quick release plate, so you can just rest it on the tripod. But you can also have the 1 inch screw mount to mount it directly on a monopode. That is really good, very convenient. Well, this is my review of the Fosicam FM 145. I hope you like this video. If you like it, please consider supporting me on my Patreon, and comment, like, share and subscribe.